Bruh. All right. We get it, we get it, we get it, get it, get it. All right, what time is it? Got a couple minutes left. Let me get this adjusted real quick. All right, let me try to mark out. I think that high is pretty much set. Give me a second. All right. What time is it? Let's see. Got 30 seconds left. A huge 5-minute range. I'm gonna go ahead and mark out that top of that 5-minute. I mean, I doubt it's gonna push up there within the next 30 seconds. So, and now we got. Let's see what the bottom of this range, if it holds. I'll go ahead and mark the line out, and yeah, it's gonna starting to get a reaction. All right, let's go to the 1-minute chart. All right, there's that 5-minute range. Let's see what happens now. Let's see. Where does this thing want to go? In the meantime, let me check quickly if we got news. News. All right, today, 9:40, FOMC member Bowman speaks. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, no really news today that we got to worry about. So, the 5-minute range is important. Yeah, I think so. I think the 5-minute range is very important. If you pay attention, if you mark out the 5-minute range every day and just watch how price reacts and respects or disrespects the 5-minute range, you'll be able to see. It gives you a good idea of, you know, what I like to look for is if it breaks out of the 5-minute range and fails to hold outside of the 5-minute range, breaks back inside the 5-minute range, that's a red flag that we could go, you know, to possibly the opposite side of the range or the next liquidity point. So, like in this situation, I'm going to be waiting for it to possibly break outside of the range and fail. If it does that, we'll see. I'll be interested in possibly taking a long. Or if this thing continues, a lot of times what price will do too is it'll break out of the 5-minute range, displace below it. Once it starts displacing, comes back and respects it as resistance. So just pay attention, draw it out every morning and just pay attention to see what happens. Last Friday, it was in a range for like an hour. Yeah, that was actually a good trade last Friday, and I was sick last Friday, and so I didn't trade, but I went back on the charts and I saw that there was like a pretty good setup last Friday for me. All right, here it goes. Starting to, let me move this up a little bit. Starting to try to break outside this range. If a candle can close outside of it, we'll see the reaction. We are coming to coming down to some lows here, some external lows. We're taking out pretty much, we're at pre-market levels. Pre-market is at 865. The 865 level is pre-market low. 865, where is that? 8. So like right above that below, right up where my cursor is pretty much that low of pre-market. So see, it hasn't closed yet. It still failed to close. If I go to, I'll go to quickly to the 15-minute chart while we have some time. You can kind of see what's going on too. We are at a support level right here. We are kind of at a level where we could bounce because that 200 level. So 200 EMA, freaking starting to. All right, let me go back and see what's going on the 1 minute. So we are taking out those low. We swept one level of liquidity, coming down, possibly taking out another one. After this last one, there's really not much. There's a lot of support coming up here quickly. So, all right, there's the closure below. Now let's see if this thing could, the reaction it's gonna take off it. We got view op at all the way up there, so. Pretty much all the way up here to the top of that 5-minute range is view op. We'll see how price reacts here. This is kind of the line in the sand. Is this going to be a displacement or is this going to be a sweep is the question. You recommend Top Step? No, I do not recommend Top Step. No hate against them, but they just been, it's a newer, they started using their new platform. They've been having a lot of issues, so trading is already hard and difficult in and of itself, and when you put like, you know, platform issues on top of that, getting stuck in trades and this and that, like, it's just not worth it. They're a reputable firm, but I would personally wait until they get their stuff together, and then once they become more, you know, less issues in their platform, but too much complaints of issues for me to even. Last thing you want is to be in like a good trade and then something happens and then you can't get out of the trade and you end up losing money. I think from what I've heard, they do make it right. They give you free accounts and stuff like that, but it's just like, man, I don't need free accounts. I need your platform board to work. Can you help me understand why SPY dropped to 69 and went up to 695? SPY? I don't really look at SPY. I could pull it up, but then I don't want to pull it up because then I'm worried I'm gonna miss a trade on this on NQ. We're pretty close. I need to see what happens here. Probably I would look for, you know, did it sweep some liquidity, sweep some lows or some highs? All right, looking like we're starting to respect that. That's a first kind of red flag. We're starting to respect that 5-minute, and looks like it's going lower. All right, we've swept pretty much. There's that last level we've just swept. If you go on, let's go on the 15-minute real quick again. So, I mean, you can kind of see there was like that last level down here. If you look to the left, all this, and then look how much room we have. We have all these bullish gaps to the next liquidity point. We have a big, you know, we have a lot of room to the downside if there are some gaps that can hold, but it starts to look ugly. I mean, in terms of we'll see if I can guess something. I mean, right, buyers are probably going to start trying to step in here. See if they can push it back above inside that range. We'll see. It's coming up 942, so... Holy crap, we're still going down. Looks like this is displacement. I was hoping that was not going to happen. I don't want a displacement. Ugh. While we're young, Wow. Well, starting to look. Yeah. Was hoping that was not gonna happen. Looks like we're just going lower. So at that point, that's tough. This was like the first red flag right there when it broke and then retested that 5 minute right there. Retested that 5 minute and then sellers came in aggressively back in. It's kind of like, uh-oh. Oh, man. Yeah, it's not looking good for the longs. We're below view op too, so we're in pretty... There's a massive imbalance down there, but still got room to it. I'm so mad at... Why are you mad? Get back into trading. I've been, yeah, I had some stuff come up, and then to be honest with you, I did end of last week. It was, you probably heard, in Florida it got like freaking crazy. It was like 80 degrees one day, and then the next day it was like 20 degrees, and I ended up getting sick. I was working outside, I got sick, and then it's like, you know, when you're sick, I don't feel like waking up and going to the office, and it's freaking cold, and so I had to take some time off. But yeah, it's now I'm back. It did suck because there was some pretty decent setups too. Yeah, I'm gonna be going live every day now again. I'm gonna probably, to be honest with you, I was doing some, I was looking back, and I almost feel like I gotta, holy crap, it's going, see what it does here. I gotta go back to my roots. The 5 minute setup that I was taking, I feel like I gotta go back to those roots. Because I was thinking over the weekend and stuff, and I'm like, I started trading, the break and retest type of strategy, and I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, why am I switching up? Like, it's like one of the worst things traders do, and I'm doing it, is they keep switching up, strategies. And so I feel like I gotta go back to my roots and go trade the strategy that passed me these accounts. The only thing that sucks about this strategy is it doesn't happen every day. So it's like for live streaming, it's not the best strategy, because it's not like I'm not going to take like a bunch of trades per day and kind of like I have to be patient for that one setup and it doesn't happen. Like last week, the setup happened 3 times last week. So there were 2 days where you wouldn't have taken any trade. Did you hit that short? No. I was waiting for a different strategy. I'm not looking for the break and if I was looking for the break and retest, yeah, there would have technically been one. Once it broke out of this 5-minute range and then kind of held it, that's your sign that kind of it's going to go lower. But seeing what it does here. Yeah, and this is the other thing, like this strategy, this 5-minute strategy. The good thing about this strategy is it's impossible really to okay, I can't say impossible, but it's very difficult to overtrade, because you typically get one setup, and then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, you're not going to see multiple setups happen. Most of the time, you get one setup, and there is no overtrading. There is none of that. You don't really have to worry about that as long as you're following the setup. So be interesting if this thing can get back inside the 5-minute range. So far, it's holding below it, which it's coming possibly to retest and go lower. I mean, weird. But we do have room to view op. That's the thing, is like price likes to rebalance itself, right? So we have view op all the way at what, 914 right now. So view op is all the way at 914. So pretty much almost the top of that 5-minute range is view op. So price does like to retrace back into view op, and all right, coming back down. Dang, retested that. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, that was a Or you know what I should do? What I need to do is, if the 5-minute range kind of displaces, if the 5-minute range doesn't hold and starts displacing, I need to look for break and retest strategies. If the 5-minute range does hold and it's a sweep and it pushes back in, I need to wait for the other strategy. That's kind of, I'm thinking that's what I should be doing. What time is it? It's around that 10 o'clock possible reversal time, so that's a... Unless this thing starts really displacing. How do you set it being a 5 candle retest for it to go short again? I mean, this is just a 5-minute range marked out. The first 5-minute, like the top of the first 5-minute candle that forms, you're pretty much just that range right there. If you see, I have it. There's that first 5-minute candle right there. There's the high of it, and there's the low of that 5-minute candle. So what happened was, now it doesn't happen every day, but you can kind of see that was the first red flag. When that 5-minute range broke, we had a closure below it, and it started to go down. Look at this candle, came up and retested the bottom of that 5-minute range, and then went lower. Pretty much retested it, and then now we're forming some structure here. This will be interesting. We're failing to make a new low, so if price could really start displacing above, I mean, I would be interested in a trade. We'll see what price does, though. I mean, I would assume at some point it's going to want to retrace back up to VWAP. I like to, see, the thing about it is, if you're trying to long, you're below VWAP, you're going against the trend, right? You're going against momentum, you're going against all that. So you'd want to wait for confirmations to happen if you are going kind of against the trend, in my opinion, right? So, we have this structure starting to form. What I would want to see is for price to start to displace above that structure. When price starts to displace above the structure, break back into the 5-minute range, that's kind of a sign for me that we could push up back to VWAP. And so I could take a scalp off that. As of right now, I mean, you're kind of, if you're trying to long down here, you're just trying to guess. There's no confirmation that this thing is going higher. There's no sign at all that this thing is going to go higher. It's just if anything, there's more chance of it going lower, because that's what the trend is doing right now. All right, taking out those lows one more time. There's a nice 5-minute in the 5-minute range. Let's see, 5-minute gap. There's a 15, I know there's a 15-minute gap coming up. We're coming up to a pivot point too. If you go on the 15-minute chart, there's that massive gap down there on the 15-minute chart. Hold on. Oh, crap. Hold on. Oh my gosh, come on, man. We have this big imbalance right there that's coming up. You can kind of see it right here. Right there, you got that massive, massive imbalance. So we're coming up to it. Looks like we want to test it. Or fill. Oh, actually, we just filled it. We just tapped into it. So there could be some buyers stepping in here again. Don't know if it holds for a big breakout, but today looks like a trend lower type of day. I even messaged you on here, but it wouldn't let me send any more messages since we aren't friends. Huh. I get a lot of spam on TikTok. TikTok's horrible with their spam messages. In the middle of a 1-hour gap. There's some, I mean, price is looking like it's just, there's no signs of this thing going up at all. No signs of any sort of, you know. And then shorting this here at this point is also dangerous too. Holy crap, this thing is just... You want it to go up, let me short it. That's how I feel, bro. That's honestly how I feel. Like, if I was to short this thing, I'm just like, you could technically wait for a retest to go, but we've just dropped so much by now that shorting this thing is not the smartest thing, because this thing could pop up at any moment. So it's like the risk to reward, the more it goes down, the higher chance it's going to pop up. But yeah, I've done that so many times. I've done that, especially break and retest. Like, you missed the first one, you missed the second one, then the third one, you're like, all right, let me take this one. And then the third one is the one that ends up reversing. Honestly, this was kind of like, I think that's what I'm gonna start doing, because I was thinking of how to do like the break and retest strategy versus the 5-minute range strategy. Like, I could technically trade both of them, so that if we do like what happened today, right? First, I was looking for the 5-minute range strategy, started to displace lower, but then you're kind of like, all right, it displaced lower, so we're displacing lower, so we could hold the bottom of this range, the bottom of the 5-minute. And so best thing to do would be look for a retest to go back down, to go lower. That would be the ideal thing to do, since it's pretty much invalidated the 5-minute range strategy. So you would think there's a continuation then. I'll probably start doing that on light size if it's the... You're hoping? I'm just analyzing to see what... Because I've been torn between those two strategies, but, you know... Both strategies are good, so I could technically trade both of them. If one doesn't get a setup, the other one usually does get a setup. I mean, this thing is dropping with no freaking... And the problem is, it's like, it's not that I'm hoping, it's that when you're looking for one type of strategy, you're only going to see that strategy. I block every other strategy out. And then when I look back, I'm like, dang, there was a setup actually for this strategy. So that's why I'm trying to, like, figure out how to possibly trade both of them. Appreciate the gift. Thank you. Good setup of the candle would have closed out green with wick being lower. Yeah, I mean, if you have a confirmation, you need some kind of we're pretty much, I don't know, I think it's a pretty big red flag if we fail to hold that gap. Yeah, that's looking ugly. If we're failing to hold this massive gap down here, right here, this big imbalance, if we inverse that imbalance, that's like, it's a pretty red flag that we can go all the way down, possibly to the lows down there. Which, that bottom of that is 548 level. So it looks like Yeah, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I ain't chasing it, that's for sure. No chasing. Dang, dude. Or the buyer's trying to defend it for the last time. Like, this is technically like a good spot to short, but man, I do not want to short at the very bottom. Man, I feel like this thing is gonna rip at some point, and I don't want to get stuck in that. What do you know about BFS? I don't know what is that? BFS? I don't know nothing about BFS. Oh, it's a coin. I don't know nothing about it. I've never even heard of it. I only look at NASDAQ. I don't look at anything else. No, I haven't even been trading. This is my first day back trading for, what was it? Like, I've been out for like 4 days or something. It's been like 4 days. It felt like forever. So yeah, I've been out. Getting back into the rhythm again. Yeah, today was crazy. Like, let's see. Let me take a quick look just out of. I'm gonna go back to yesterday because I didn't check what happened yesterday. I was actually gonna do that. Let me quickly give me a second while I wait. I want to go to yesterday and see what what the heck? Come on, man. Sorry, give me a second. I just want to see what yesterday did. What yesterday was like. Alright, here we come. 12, 11, 10. Alright, here's open yesterday. Yesterday. Alright, similar situation happened yesterday. Right here. So we have this. There's that bottom of that 5-minute range. So there's the bottom of it. And where's the top? 33, 34, 35. So there's the top of that 5-minute range. There's the top of that 5-minute range. Let's see what happened yesterday. Pay attention to the similarities of yesterday. There's that 5-minute range of yesterday. What happened yesterday? We also broke. Today we broke down to the bottom of that range. Yesterday we broke to the top of the range. So look what happened. We broke. There's that first closure above that 5-minute range. There's the kind of displacement above it. Started to hold. Pulled back into the first gap. Pulled back into this gap. And we got to move back up. So, if it fails to break back inside, I trade the direction of that range. And look at the direction. Look at it. It just kept going up and up and up and up. So, very similar to what happened today, right? 5-minute range. We broke out of it. We retested the highest support, and then we continued going up. Literally the exact same thing happened today, except to the other side of the range. And here we go today. Break out of the bottom of the range. Retested. Actually, it retested right away. But this would have been the best retest, technically, looking back. Right? Because this first one, it's like, you don't know if that's a sweep. That could still be a sweep. But when it really started to displace below and it left that imbalance, right, we came back up, retested all this level. You could technically have a tight stop. If it gets back inside the range, you have a very tight stop with a good risk or reward. Just moving crazy with no retracement. Best to sit on your hands in this environment, trade safe. Yeah, it's like, and I look at it this way. If you didn't buy, if you did not short up here, why would you be shorting down here? Like, you know, if you didn't do it up here, which was a way better spot to short, then shorting down here is kind of like, it's just not, it's not smart. Yes, it could work out because this thing could just keep going lower and lower, but the lower it goes, you're buying at a support level and it could pop at any time. Just the probability wise, it just goes down. I just don't think it's smart. I think it's better, like you said, to wait, sit on your hands. There's going to be better setups. I think if you're trying to long, I mean, I think it's best to wait for confirmations. There really is no confirmation that this thing wants to continue going up. If it starts breaking out of a structure like this one, then that's kind of the first sign we could start going up, at least to this next level of resistance. But right now, I mean, it's just like, it's making lower lows, making lower lows, lower lows. Yeah, I mean, sitting on your hands and not taking a trade is one of the best things you could do. You're being smart. You want to put yourself in the best possible position. Oh, man. Ugh. Yeah, today was a crazy kind of day. I mean, this thing just like no mercy. Just kept going lower and lower and lower. You got one retest. This was the only retest you kind of got, was this one right here. Once we broke below. I mean, you could have technically, if you would have went short, trying to figure out like the risk to reward, you technically would have had to had your stop above like maybe this high up here. So yeah, I mean, it would have been, what, 20? That's like 180, and then yeah, it's kind of a 1-to-1 risk to reward. But yeah, this thing is just like, at this point, I don't think there's going to be a trade for me, to be honest with you. Being real. It's 10-12. I'm kind of at the point where it may just be good to just call it today. I didn't get the first, I didn't get the first 5-minute strategy, and then the retest strategy, I wasn't really paying attention for that and didn't take it, but that was kind of the only thing that I should have. Give me a second. This cold needs to leave. It's been wild. Yeah, I ended up getting sick. Which is funny because I was talking to my brother was sick, and on the day I got sick, I was talking to him over the phone. I'm like, bro, you're gonna get me sick. I got sick that same day I said that. And you know the feeling where you're like, you can already feel that you're getting sick, like your throat starts to hurt a little bit. You're like, oh crap. You already know it's coming. Yeah, that put me out of service for a while. I don't, honestly, respect to y'all who deal with this crap every single day. I don't know how y'all deal with it. I don't know, maybe I just don't have the body built for it. But I hate it with a passion. I hate this cold weather so much. I prefer hot. I prefer to be like, for it to be 90 degrees over 20 degrees or 30 degrees. But here again, here's the thing also. Cold in Florida is completely different than cold in other states. Like, it could be 30 degrees up north or 30 degrees in, say, like California. It feels completely different than 30 degrees in Florida. 30 degrees in Florida feels way colder than 30 degrees up north or in California, like West Coast area, because we have humidity. So because of the humidity, our air is very moist. So it makes it feel twice as cold than it actually is. But yeah, it's supposed to start to warm up. I think these next few days is supposed to get back into like the 60s and 70s and stuff. Finally, we see patterns creating and not just straight drops. Yeah, there is patterns create, but I'm just like, I'm very hesitant to try to take a short here because like taking a long is dangerous and taking a short is also dangerous. Like I'm just asking to get my face torn apart trying to take a short down here. I like to put myself in like an area, you know, if you would have went short down here, then it's like not up here, then you put yourself in such a better spot because you have view op there too. So price would need to break view op in order to kind of stop you out. And so yeah, any moment you can get this like massive candle that just shoots to the upside. But yeah, it's kind of like it's still failing to make a higher, you know, a higher high or a higher low. It just keeps breaking the low and breaking the low. This is the type of market where if you would have trailed your stop, I mean, somebody would the people that trail their stop are probably still trailing their stop. Because think about it. If somebody went short up here, all right, then they move their stop. They went short there. Say initially their stop was maybe this high right here. This kind of high right there. So they shorted. Boom, it broke below, started to displace below, stopped to break even. At that point, their stop is at break even. Now it continues going lower. Once it displaces down here, you're kind of moving your stop a little, maybe past up on this high, secure a little more profit, right? It moves lower, then you're kind of moving your stop there. Then you're moving your stop above this high. Then you're moving your stop above this high, then this high, and you're still trailing your stop. But the only issue with trailing your stop is with certain platforms, the trailing stop, the live trailing drawdown can get you. Like in an ideal market like this, it works good. But in other markets, it may get you because you may have so much realized profit, and if you don't trail it tight enough, it can come back and really bite you. So that's why I never really trail my stop. I just try to take the profits I can. My house is at 61. It just turned on the heat. Yeah, 61 in Florida is like, feels like 50s. I live in Florida for a reason. I want to be able to walk outside with shorts on. Like the feeling in the morning when it's summertime and you wake up in the morning and it's like 80 degrees outside, it feels good. Sun is shining, 80 degrees, birds are chirping. Plus, there is that seasonal depression crap where it's like cold and gloomy. It like you feel it. It's crazy. You really feel a difference in like your mood and everything. Versus when it's sunny outside, you feel great. When it's cloudy and gloomy and cold, you're just like, you don't want to do anything. Take any trades today? No, I didn't. Sadly, I didn't. I was too focused on the one strategy. So now I'm kind of like, from here on out, I'm going to be trying both strategies and not just focused on one of them. Because there was a good break and retest strategy. Break and retest trade. Where we kind of, this 5-minute range, we kind of broke below it. Came back up and retested it as resistance. But for the break and retest, I need to wait for that displacement. I need to wait for it to really kind of start to displace above. Or below or above or... And then just kind of, as soon as you see that direction playing out, boom, you're starting to kind of look for the direction. Alright, starting to look like this may start to want to... It's losing momentum to the downside. It's starting to try to possibly make some higher lows here. We set a high right there. We're starting to try to break out of that high. If we do break out of it, that's like the first sign that we may start to see some movement to the upside. All right, I think I'm gonna just call it today. I mean, there's really no point in me sitting here when I know I'm not gonna get a trade. I know I'm at the point right now where it's just like there's no trades to take for me personally. I don't see it happening. So I think it's like times like this, it's best to call it and move on. If you took trades and you took a loss or a win, it's best to move on and just call it a day, call it early, and come back tomorrow. That's the thing with me. I've been trading for so long that like I've been trading for 3 years already. So I'm not in like the beginners like, ooh, I want to trade. I'm at the point in my life where I'm just like, I just want to I want to wait for a good setup, trade, and then walk away completely. I have no urge to stay on the market and watch, you know. But yeah, there's really no reason to sit here and try to like, and the more you sit, the more you start to kind of look for setups, and then you're more inclined to take a trade and just take a dumb trade instead of waiting for something good. So, all right, I'm going to call it there. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm back, so I'll be trading every single day from here on out. I was sick, so, but we'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you guys. Peace out. Stay safe. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.